Well, what else can I say at this point except the Doctor is in.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba.
Hello, my friends. Welcome to Thumb Together TV. My name is Andrew Fantasia, and today we're going to be talking about Watchmen Episode 7 Together. As usual, if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up and give some love to that subscribe button as well. 5 episodes ago, I made a wacky prediction, and that wacky prediction ain't so wacky anymore, but we'll get there. This episode was all about Angela Abar, and even though she is our main character, we never got a glimpse into her life story until now. And let me tell you what a wonderful surprise it was, and what a big smile it put on my face to see Annie from This Is Us stepping into the tiny shoes, the tiny adorable shoes of little Angela Abar. And we got to see firsthand what life is like living in Saigon when America has won the Vietnam War thanks to Dr. Manhattan and all that, and it's now an American state, I guess. Maybe it's the 52nd state, who knows at this point, but it really is a wonder to see this new world, this what-if kind of world firsthand. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows, because as you might expect, the local people, the Vietnamese people, are not happy about these American invaders. It makes perfect sense. I wouldn't be happy either. So there's a lot of unrest. Everywhere you look, there's unrest. The Vietnamese natives hate the American natives because they're thinking, we were here first. How dare you get off? It's a very tumultuous place to live, and you can just see that reflected in every scene that takes place in Angela's backstory. She's got her grandmother for all of 2 hours before her grandmother is murdered by more angry people. It's hell. It's hellish over there, and we know that she met Cal there. So she stayed there for many, many more years until finally they moved stateside. So God only knows what happened to them in that interim of years. It could not have been pleasant. And when Angela wakes up in the present time and she is face to face with Lady Trieu, that kicks off this whole sort of arc for this episode where she's trying to get answers out of Trieu and trying to talk to her grandfather, who she is apparently tethered to via this very thick IV needle. And Trieu is being, in true, pardon the pun, in true Damon Lindelof fashion, Lady Trieu is being very cryptic and just smiling and not giving the answers, even though she has them. And it can get maddening. I know a lot of people got annoyed when that sort of thing happened on Lost, and I can understand how that can get maddening. So it was a bit of a chore to see Trieu sit there smugly with all the answers and not give them up, even though Angela's clearly asking for them, until the 11th hour at least. But Trieu dropped a bit of a bombshell where she said that her daughter, that girl with the very 80s eyeglasses that survived from the 80s till now, she's still rocking that pair of glasses, that girl is not her daughter, it's a clone of her mother. She also mentions that her father will be joining them as well at a certain point, so she has plans to clone her father as well. Here's a theory I'm going to drop now. Who is her father? I think it's the comedian. The comic and the movie imply that the comedian was very nastily promiscuous when he was serving over in Nam, and Lady Trieu is of Vietnamese heritage. I don't know if this exact thing happened in the book, but in the movie we get that scene where comedian is approached by a woman in a bar who says, "Hey, you got me pregnant," and he doesn't want to deal with it, so he beats her up. I am sure, considering what we know about the comedian, that is not the only Vietnamese woman who he got pregnant. Plus, Lady Trieu's daughter keeps talking about how she's living through nostalgia. She's living the life of her old life to kind of, catch up on all of it. And she keeps mentioning how painful it is. And she's running through a field and she's being chased and it's very painful. That sounds like an encounter with the comedian back in Vietnam to me. So that's where my money is. I'm going with the comedian as Lady Trieu's absentee father. Now, speaking of clones, we got a great transition in this episode that feels like it was straight out of something Dave Gibbons would have drawn, where we have an extreme close-up on Angela's eyes. And by the way, Regina King, your eyes are just like the most sparkly eyes I have ever seen on a human being. I don't know what it is about Regina King's eyes, but bellissimo. Anyway, we close up on her eyes and then it transitions into stained glass windows in this castle where Adrian Veidt is spending the rest of his days, and he is on trial for all the horrific things he has done to his clones and for the fact that he has defied the one order of the place, which is thou shalt not leave he's been trying to leave. And once again, the Veidt scenes feel like they're straight out of some bizarre, surrealist comedy of errors. The judge, jury, prosecution, and executioners are all clones. They are all the Sarah Vickers and Tom Meissen clones. And they just are done with Adrian Veidt. They want to find him guilty. And they do, in a weird scene involving pigs. This is just, it is bizarro world up there on that moon of Jupiter, let me tell you. So what does it mean that he is found guilty? I don't know yet. Maybe they're going to banish him from the castle and make him wander the wilderness. I don't know. I'm starting to wonder if it was Lady Trieu and not Dr. Manhattan who put him on this moon. We know Lady Trieu is a trillionaire. We know she has vast resources. If anybody human could have done this, it would be her. And that maybe this is exactly how Lady Trieu grows her daughter and other clones. Because remember, she's got a sort of biome going on there, like a geodesic dome in her factory. She's creating false atmospheres and false environments, which is exactly what Adrian Veidt is trapped in up on that moon. He is in a false environment. He's in a snow globe on an otherwise frigid, uninhabitable moon of Jupiter. This seems like something Trieu would build. I think it's her. I think that, she's cloning these folks there for whatever reason. She threw Veidt there to get him out of the way. My money is on Lady Trieu being the head of that operation. But even if I'm wrong about that, and even if I'm wrong about her father being the comedian, I'll tell you what I'm not wrong about. Oh boy, Cal is Dr. Manhattan. From what I gather, Cal was a real person, and John Osterman inhabited him, somehow got under his skin almost literally, and is living a life inside him, but Cal is unaware of it. And maybe John Osterman comes out every once in a while, but Cal doesn't know. It's like a schizophrenic kind of thing. There's this accident where he got amnesia, so he's just not in the right state of mind. But damn, when I said that back in my review of episode 2, I was just spitballing. I was just like, we don't know enough about Cal. What if he's Dr. Manhattan? Who knows? They're pointing weird signs that Manhattan is in hiding. I am at a loss for words. I cannot believe that actually worked out. And thanks so much, everybody who jumped in the comments on my episode 2 review and more or less congratulated me on that. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm usually not right about these things. I usually don't even make predictions while I'm watching. I just kind of sit there and let stuff wash over me. But for some reason, that just was like, hey, this feels like it could be true, and turns out it is. Now, what does this mean? Like, Angela seems to have known all the time that he was Manhattan. It looks like next week we're going to be getting flashbacks about how they met, which is going to be cool. So I can't wait to see that story unfold, and I can't wait to see what Dr. Manhattan is going to do. We know that the bad guys are planning to kidnap him and take his powers, which makes a lot of sense. I'm surprised nobody in the history of the Watchmen universe has attempted this before. And Jane, Judd's wife, turns out she's in on it too. She's a villain as well. She might even be the head honcho. I wouldn't be surprised. And she's got Laurie Blake tied up as a prisoner. But now that Manhattan is out of Cal's body, my question is, can the bad guy succeed? Is it even possible? Because Manhattan is so flippin' powerful. All Angela has to do is say, hey, this senator is trying to kidnap you. And he could be like, okay, that senator is now dead. Like, that's how powerful Manhattan is. How is there going to be any semblance of threat from the part of the villains? What is the 7th Cavalry going to bring to the table to make us think, oh, they might actually do this? That's the rub. That's where I don't envy the writer's room. Because when you create a character as powerful as Dr. Manhattan, that's just a recipe for disaster. That is a recipe for lack of tension, lack of stakes, lack of threat. I hope they find a way to add tension and stakes and threat to episodes 8 and 9. We've only got 2 left. But that is an almost religious awe, the 7th episode of Watchmen. We're 2 weeks away from the big finale, whatever that might entail. I am so excited to see what happens next. Let's see if my other crazy theories that I dropped this week will end up having some semblance of truth. Did Trieu build the snow globe that trapped Ozymandias, and is her father the comedian? I'm saying yes to both of those. I'm probably wrong, but hey, I've been right before, so let's see what happens. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Andrew Fantasia. I will see you all here next time, and until then, adios.